What's up, guys? Thank you for clicking on the video. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how not to waste your time when doing these gig apps. And the main thing that this is number one thing to not waste time is to stop overthinking. I used to overthink. Anyone new usually overthinks. And when you're doing an order, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't matter if you mess up. Granted, if it's a small mistake, yes, it's fine. If it's a bigger mistake, then maybe. But no one's watching you. No one's over-analyzing you. If a customer's missing an item, it's not in stock, right? So don't stress about it. I remember my first ever gig order when I was doing Instacart. I couldn't find a particular order, and I spent 10-15 minutes trying to find it because I didn't want to ask anybody for help. And I was super stressed out when I didn't really have to. We get so stressed out about things when we literally don't have to. Once we're done with that order, it's done. Like, it's out of your life. So don't overspend on time on something that is so temporary. If you're dealing with a bad order, whatever, in an hour or so, that order is going to be behind you. So that's the main thing. Do not overcomplicate things. Don't over worry about things like stuff that's out of your control. It's out of your control. Don't worry about it. The second thing that I want to tell people is that certain stores have certain rules, right? So you don't want to waste your time with doing certain things at a certain store that you're used to doing at other stores. What do I mean by that? Well, for me, when I go to a BJ's wholesale, a Costco's, or even like a regular supermarket like Shaw's, Market Basket here in New England, I like to get a box. For example, like a box of apples, right? An empty box, and put the product in there. Sometimes I'll bag it and put it in there so it's nice and organized. But if it's bigger items, I won't even bag them and I'll just put them in there. The reason why I do that is because when I go to drop it off to the customer, I'm not going up with 20,000 bags. I just have everything organized right in the box and it's ready to go. That's a little hack for you guys. If you've never shopped for a big order like that, that's a little hack. But the thing is, some stores supposedly don't let you get away with that. So there's some stores that claim that it's company policy that they can't let people leave with boxes. Now, I can see where that's true in some cases, because if there's a lot of labeling in the box or on the box cover, that makes sense, because companies don't want to be liable or they want to be at risk for just potential issues, right? If it's a plain cardboard box, I don't see an issue with it. But there are places and stores that have issues when people take those kinds of boxes and do whatever they want with them. Even though they're getting thrown away, some places don't like that. So if I were you and you're doing a shopping order, for example, verify with the store, make sure it's okay with them. Make sure you're not going to run into issues, because some people take their job a little too serious, right? There's stores where there's greeters at the when you're leaving the store, and some of these people take their job way too serious. They act like it's they're agents for the FBI or protecting the president, and they can't let you leave with that. Like, no, like I get why they're there, but a box is not going to do anything. So, but again, some stores are like, they get upset about that stuff. So make sure you know the rules of the store before you go doing things that you're normally doing at other stores, right? That's another thing. A third thing you want to do, so you're not wasting your time on these gig apps, is you multi-app, but don't overdo it. Because if you're constantly jumping from app to app, that can get confusing for some people, and you might lower your numbers on the apps which can potentially disqualify you from receiving future orders. So it's cool if you're multi-apping, but if you do so, make sure when you take an order on one of the apps, make sure you shut the other ones off. Because there's apps out there that if your acceptance rate is too low, they won't send orders as consistent to you anymore. I know that there was some law that got put in place that prevents companies from doing that, but there's little sneaky things that they do to get around those laws, right? Because you're an independent rep, you're not forced to take anything. You're not forced to do anything. But if they don't disclose what they're doing and they kind of just show you what they want to show you, that's totally within the realm of, they won't get in trouble for that. So just keep that in mind. If you're multi-apping, shut the other ones off and try to find an app that's like your number one app that you're always taking orders on. If that's slow, then start multi-apping. But unless you're really, really skilled at multitasking, I don't suggest doing multiple apps at the same time, because that can cause you to become late for some orders. It could be a trickling effect, and you don't want any of those headaches. All right. Another thing, so you don't waste your time, is reach out to support to see if there's ways to decrease your mileage. Now, if you're driving a gas efficient car, it doesn't matter too much. But on some of these platforms, some of the routes don't make sense. Now, it's a lot better now than it was before, but there's still inconsistencies when it comes to routes and efficient routing. So if you have the chance, contact support. Don't even text them, just call them so they can resolve the issue quicker and there's less miscommunication. And ask them if there's a way where you can rearrange the drop-offs if you're taking a multi-customer order, meaning you're dropping off to different customers. Platforms where you guys can see this more consistently is platforms like Instacart, Spark, where you have multiple orders. And the way you can determine if it's going to be, if you can save even more gas dropping these off, is you put them on your map, right? Whatever map application that you have, if it lets you add multiple stops, you put that in there and then kind of rearrange the addresses to try to make it as streamlined of a route as possible. There are a lot of apps out here that they try to maneuver the customers so that when you drop off the last one, you're actually close to the stores. But not all the apps do that. So if you want, and you want to rearrange the routes, feel free to reach out to support. Most likely, they'll be able to help you. So that's another way to go about that. Another thing you want to do is on your phone, if you have multiple apps that you like to check on, put them in a folder together. If you're on iPhone, this works perfectly well. I'm not sure how Android works because every phone is different. But if you're on iPhone, you can simply create a group and then put all of your gig apps in one spot, because it's just a lot more quicker, a lot more efficient when you do it that way. It'll solve a lot of headaches. So in my folder, I have Spark, I have Shipt, Instacart, I think Roadie, Lyft, all in one folder. So if I ever need to switch apps, I can literally do so at the click of a button. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys do that. It's just gonna save a lot of headaches, guys. The last thing I want to touch up on is to not waste your time with anyone working at the store that you're at or anything like that. Don't waste your time arguing about policies that are already in place there, right? There's nothing you can do to change it. To go back on the box thing, I've had issues at certain stores with boxes, but it's not worth your time trying to argue your point or try to whatever, because those people are going to be stuck in their ways. It's not worth your time trying to figure out or explain to them. You don't owe anybody anything. Just do whatever it is, and then next time you come to that store, you know what the deal is, or just completely pass that store up if you ever get orders going to that location. So hopefully those are helpful. I hate seeing people waste time, so I figured I'd come on here and just give you some of the things that I've noticed that a lot of people do, and sometimes I try, so I don't waste my time. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video this far. Make sure you like, share, subscribe if you got anything out of this content, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.